Manning takes the snap, back to throw. Looks, fires to the goal line. Smith's got a touchdown. And Steve Smith asks for the football. He's got his first NFL touchdown.
Welcome back to The First Word. Here's your host, Gary Williams.
All right, 22 past the hour here on The First Word, Mad Dog Radio, Series 123, XM 144. You know, the draft behind you, but the impact these players are going to have, it remains to be seen. But maybe to get some reaction from a guy who had his unit on the New York Giants fortified at the receiver position, going into his third year from USC, is Steve Smith. Steve, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. How's it going?
Pretty good. Now, you know, it's early. I mean, it's early. It's late April. What are you doing up so early? Don't you sleep late on a day like today?
I try to. I actually got to be at workouts at 8:30, but just wanted to get in and get a call in this morning and get my day going.
Well, I appreciate you doing it. You know, you've been through this as a player. Now it's over, and you see that the Giants went in the direction in the first round, then again in the third round to give you a little bit of help. You familiar with either one of these guys that the Giants, whether it be Hakeem Nicks, who was the first rounder, or Ramses Barton from Cal Poly? Did you know Ramses at all? I mean, he's a California guy.
No, I don't know any of the guys, but I'm familiar with them like everybody else is about watching them on TV. And I haven't got to see Ramsey play, but I've seen some of his highlights, and, both guys look like they're great talents.
You know, Steve, one thing that I've heard you talk about this, whether as the season, kind of wound down to the end and you guys lost in the playoffs, or whether it's been in this postseason, is kind of reflecting back on, what happened to the offense down the stretch. You guys had a very big night, and a lot of it was on the ground against the Carolina Panthers in what was really one of the better games of the year. But outside of that, in the last 5 weeks, you didn't score 20 points other than that one game. What was the primary reason for that?
Yeah, I don't. They were defenses did a few different things, I guess, to us, and the plays were there. I think we had opportunities. We just didn't, come up with some big time plays that we should have, and but we had a lot of opportunities.
Steve, the unit is going to be really different. I mean, you expect to have a couple of rookies among, the first five in all likelihood. And then you look around and it's like, wow, I went from a guy who made some big plays and made a lot of third down catches in the playoff run, but I had Toomer and I had Burris around me. These guys are gone. I mean, have you talked to Tom Coughlin? You talked to Kevin Gilbride to get a sense that your role, they're counting on you to catch 70, 75 balls. Do you know what your expectation level is already of next year? Well, I talked to my receiver coach a little bit and about, playing outside more and just, we're going to be moving around a lot. We got a lot of guys that have been in the offense for a while, so we're excited because we're all going to be able to move around. But, I'm just going to go in there and work my butt off and try to, set an example for the young guys and do what Toom and Plex been teaching me for the past few years. Steve Smith with us of the New York Giants. And Steve, the transition from college to the NFL for all these receivers, not just the ones that are going to be joining you on the Giants, I've constantly heard that receiver is one of the hardest positions to have an immediate impact. One, do you agree with that? And two, why is it?
Well, just because the game is fast and they throw a lot of different defenses at you. I think in college they didn't really disguise defenses as well as they do in the NFL. So you got to really study up and get in the film room and kind of learn the offense as best as you can.
The other thing that I know that you've probably heard, and certainly you're off to a good start in your young career, is USC receivers with so much talent on the field that there are different ways for you to get the ball, and it's easy to score, it's easy to get yardage in that offense. How do you say, you got to evaluate everybody differently? I mean, have you heard the idea? About the guys who it just didn't work out for him. Certainly with Mike Williams, Dwayne Jarrett, it hadn't quite popped yet for him. He's entering his third year as well. Is there any validity to the fact that you guys are so loaded at SC that it's easy because there's always 2 other 3 guys that you got to worry about?
I mean, I could understand that, but still you got to go out there and play football. You got to go out there and make plays, and with so much talent, I mean, you might not get doubled as much because there's running backs, tight ends, everybody. So, but you still got to go out there and line up and make plays and come out here, and you got to be hungry just like you were in college.
You know, the other thing, Steve, regarding last year is, and again, I know this has been belabored, but it's impossible not to discuss. Do you feel like the confidence of this team took a hit with the combination, and everyone focused on Plaxico, but you also had an injury to Brandon Jacobs, and he kind of presented kind of an identity to that offense. Do you feel like confidence-wise that your football team was kind of rocked a little bit, or you just weren't quite as confident in the last month as you were when you were just rolling people in the first 2.5 months?
No, I mean, I think that we were still confident, but, it wasn't. We were a little shaken up just because, we lost a big part of our offense, halfway or past midway through the season. So, you kind of have to adjust on the run. And, we did a good job. We went to Washington and beat a good Redskins team. We beat Carolina without Plex. So there's different ways to win ball games in the NFL.
Steve Smith with us of the New York Giants. The SC thing, and just a quick thought. I mean, you know these guys well, and they all ran so well that I'm sure they tried to run with you. They were much younger at the time. A quick thought about these linebackers. Who is the best coverage linebacker, the three that were just drafted? Matthews or Cushing or Mauluga? Who do you think is the best in coverage as far as the ability to cover a slot receiver?
I didn't get a chance to play against Matthews, but I mean, look at him. He's looking like the most agile and one who can turn his hips and with speed. So, I mean, he might be the most NFL ready, but I think Ray Mauluga might be the most feared because he's just a hard hitter, man, an intimidator, and Cushing's just an all-around guy. He's so versatile. He could play up, he could play down. So all three of them are going to come in and make big plays.
All right, now you mentioned you got a workout this morning. You got a mini camp. You'll have your OTAs, and then you're going to disappear, and all you guys are just going to let your bodies rest. You'll stay in shape. What do you do when you get away from football? I mean, you don't have a lot of time to really get away. People don't realize that. When you can really get away from the facility, what do you do?
I mean, you go somewhere else and work. This game is all you got. It's a year-round job. You got to keep working, or your body's gonna. It doesn't remember too much. So. I'm going to go home and enjoy Southern California with my family, but I'm definitely going to continue working out and come back ready so I can make an impact in training camp.
No golf, tennis, surfing?
I think I'm going to go maybe take a trip to an island somewhere and get away for a little bit. Okay,
a quick prediction. Who will be starting opposite you next year? Who will be the other starting wide receiver opposite you next year?
We'll have to stay tuned and see in training camp in the fall.
It's wide open. I mean, Steve, it really is interesting. I mean, you guys, I know you believe have talent, but you got to translate talent into production, which you managed to do last year. I mean, 57 receptions on a team that had Toomer and had Plax for the better part of the year. That will be an interesting thing. And of course, you got two guys that you're going to get used to and get to know during these mini camps and certainly during training camp as well. Listen, stay healthy and enjoy the time you do get away during the month of late June and into July, and look forward to catching up down the road.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Steve Smith, who again, I thought he was perfect in 2007 because he was the guy, and Eli showed trust in him. The guy made a lot of third down catches.